What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about a principle of animation that is somewhat forgotten, okay? It's kind of thrown aside, except in rare circumstances. And that is going to be the principle of exaggeration. This principle, even when it comes to the 9 Old Men, when it comes to any list of animation principles, exaggeration is always usually like third to the bottom, okay? And I think it's a principle that is extremely overlooked in animation nowadays because let's face it, we're in the day and age where everything is real. Oh, we gotta have real graphics. Oh, this is 120 frames. Oh, look at that tree. Do you see the graphics in that? The tree looks absolutely real. Oh my God, Call of Duty. You see how real that exposure looked? Everything is real. Everything has to be, oh my God, the mocap, this and that. And I think that especially in a lot of the reels, especially the reels I've seen thus far, is that there is an overemphasis on realism in many cases. When it comes to exaggeration, people underestimate what that can do for their animation. I believe how animators should view exaggeration is a seasoning for your animation. So exaggeration would be something you add on top of an already solid foundation. Don't think that you're gonna add exaggeration and it's gonna mask, your poor animation. Just like you can't add seasoning to food and it's gonna mask the, something that's, undercooked.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And before I go on, I wanna let everyone know that I have created a book to help those to get an animation job. I know what it feels like to be fresh out of college and you're looking for an animation job and you're excited about your reel and you keep on getting no's or you're just not getting any responses. So in my book, How to Get Your First Animation Job, I lay out tried and true principles of how I went about it, and I give real life examples of what I did and how it led to me getting animation jobs and things that I even use today to secure jobs. I just wanted to put this out there in case you're looking for a job. I know in this economy it can be tough, but it's out there. Check it out. It's got some really great reviews. Thank you for those who purchased it. And I just want to put that out there. Having said that, I think when it comes to exaggeration, I think a lot of people view it as, Tex Avery, eyes out of your head, big mouths, big, overlaps, just all this extra, right? Extra is not the same thing as exaggeration. It can be. Rest assured it can be, but as I said before, it has to be with seasoning. So one of the things that is going to establish, good animation from, just animation, I would argue is exaggeration. And this is something I talk about in previous videos when it comes to variation in timing, variation in staging, variation in, overlap, folding, all the principles. But one of the cruxes of variation is exaggeration. It's a form of varying your timing, varying what you already have. For example, when you look at, video games, there's an exaggeration of what? Timing, and I would argue solid appeal. Because you want the player to know when the enemy's about to attack, right? But then you also have the exaggeration in timing, where it's like, whoa, now. And, a game that does this amazingly is obviously gonna be Elden Ring. So there's a combination of that timing and solid drawing, that exaggeration applied onto that for the specific purpose of a game. So you want the player to hit, bam, bam. You want the player to feel, slow or lethargic. They do that. So when you look at anime, for example, depending on what show you watch, I would say there's an exaggeration of timing and staging because you have these amazing angles. You have this amazing cinematography, and in some cases, the camera, will go right here and it'll zoom out, and how they stage the action is an exaggeration of what you would normally, see. Even when it comes to mocap, I think a lot of people view mocap as, the end all be all, right? Everyone wants to do mocap. And for anyone who's worked in mocap, and I am extensively, is that mocap can be boring. It just is what it is. I know you think that someone throwing a punch is really cool and it looks cool. It's not. It's not for the most part. And even in some of the most realistic games, they have to exaggerate the action. They have to exaggerate the timing. There was a game, Splinter Cell Blacklist, great game if you haven't played it. In the GDC talk, they talk about how they have to exaggerate some of the poses. They have to exaggerate some of the timing for the benefit of the player so that it reads. So you're gonna see this time and time again where there's exaggeration. Now, where you choose to exaggerate is dependent upon what the feeling is you want for the audience. What are you trying to attain? Because you exaggerate the staging. You can exaggerate all the principles for the most part. Appeal, follow through, overlap, timing.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
Even when it comes to facial, when you get into acting, you're gonna start to notice that there's certain points that you want to exaggerate, certain accents you want to hit and exaggerate for certain, facial features or mouth shapes and things like that. And as you go on in your animation career, you're really gonna see how much exaggeration you do in just everyday animation, whether it's realistic or whether it's cartoony. I just wanted to put that out there because I don't think exaggeration gets a lot of love. I think when people think of exaggeration, they just think of squash and stretch. And squash and stretch is a separate principle from exaggeration. And I think once you start looking at real life reference, you'll start to see the natural squash and stretch of the human body. Now, if we exaggerate these aspects, now we're cooking, okay? So, nevertheless, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from it. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, keep animating.